Today's video is sponsored by the team over at MineTheASIC.com. Are you in the early stages of searching for a profitable ASIC miner and not sure where to get started? The team over at MineTheASIC.com has you covered. Their massive ASIC database houses everything you could possibly need when searching for an ASIC. Hash rate, power consumption, algorithm, best vendor pricing, daily profitability, mining pools, and more. MineTheASIC.com is your daily one-stop shop for everything ASIC mining, including proof of work rankings, ASIC videos, relatable blogs, mining calculators, and more. Knowing what vendors you can trust your ASIC purchase with is always difficult. MineTheASIC.com has you covered. Their vendor list has been vetted and reviewed to ease your purchasing concerns. Go check out MineTheASIC.com today. Thanks again to MineTheASIC.com for supporting the hobbyist miner community. What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the Hobbyist Miner channel. Well, today you're in for a treat. I have two special guests here. We do have DJ Mines and Daniel Keller. Welcome, gentlemen.
Going on?
Hey, how are you doing, buddy?
So if you guys aren't familiar with these two, we have DJ Mines here, who is a content creator in the scene as well as a home crypto miner. And then we also have Daniel Keller, who is the CEO of the well-known cryptocurrency 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏. So today we're going to be talking about a few different topics. We're going to talk about purchasing mining hardware during the bear run. We're going to talk a little bit about ROI, and then finally our thoughts and feelings on the current state of cryptocurrency and where we are today, January 28th. So you gentlemen ready to jump in?
Absolutely.
Don't forget two-time astronaut.
Two-time.
Just kidding.
NASA.
You caught me for a quick second.
Yeah, but do you have the plans for the Death Star? Come on.
I don't. That's way cooler.
He gets his nerd cred right there.
Yep, right out.
I love it. So let's jump in talking about purchasing hardware during the bear market. So DJ and I, this is our first cycle that we've gone through, at least within the crypto scene. I know DJ's been part of the investing world on traditional finance for quite some time, so he's seen these ebb and flows. But then we have Daniel Keller over here, who has been a part of multiple cycles. And so I'll throw it to you first, DJ. Just what are your thoughts when people approach you, or just your thoughts now on buying mining hardware currently as of January 28th?
January 28th. I'm liking it. I've been buying more and more. And I think, the same people that were saying prices were too high, all of a sudden that they don't want to buy it, mining's dead, it's not time to get in. Like, at what point do you get in? S19s are so cheap. Graphics cards, I'm seeing them. If you look for $250 for like a 3070, it's solid. Well, I don't really think that you're gonna have any issues. And personally, I've been buying more and more, and I think we're nearing the bottom. If we're not in the bottom stages, I don't want to call a day. I don't really think it matters, to be honest with you. The bear market's the bear market. Great time to expand, and if you don't, I think you'll look back on it and wish you did. Yeah.
So right now for you, have you bought anything? Let's say within the last, we'll say 8 weeks, so 2-month time period.
Yeah, I've bought 2 Kadena miners, just the little ones, nothing crazy. I bought one S19 XP, and I want to buy another one. I actually did get a 40 series. That's a 4070 Ti behind me. I'm probably going to buy it off the guy because it's on Flux. Man, the 40 series on Flux is incredible. They're pricey, I'm not going to lie, right? So, maybe I wouldn't replace my whole farm at the moment with the current price of the 40 series, but they are so good. The 4090, I tested that. I was getting 165 souls. It's unheard of territory. Wow. I love it. And you guys know I'm a huge fan of Flux, so I like the 40 series a lot.
Awesome. So Dan, what about you? So I don't know that you're buying as much hardware. Maybe I'm wrong. But what are your thoughts, at least, on where we are today and when people discuss purchasing hardware for mining?
Well, you kind of did allude to the fact that I've been through a couple of these, market cycles, and most people don't know this about me, but that's how I came to the space. I was a miner, and I had a very large mining facility. And as a matter of fact, I sent you some of the pictures the other day.
I'll have to tease them up in the video. Tease them up because it's legit.
I had some S9s, and we had some ASICs, and then of course, GPU is where my heart's at. So we had 3,000, 4,000 GPUs running, and wow. The claim to fame that I just saw the other day was that they came out and said that in Pennsylvania, the very first mining company was using nuclear power. Well, that was BS because I was doing it 3 years ago. So, I would say this. I agree with what DJ said. I said, if now, not then when. I mean, because the prices are down. Miners almost always are very cost conscious. They understand that ROI isn't what most conventional people would see ROI as. It's called delayed ROI in mining, because we know that equipment and that gear is going to eventually get to a point where, within a day, it's paid for itself. I mean, take a look at what happened to Flux. I mean, if you got into it at the right time, 30 cents, you know what I mean? Now you're sitting at, $1.10 today or something like that. So, I think it's all about timing.
Yeah.
It's all about, and you go back to Warren Buffett, you buy when there's blood in the streets. And if you have the opportunity to get, like DJ was saying, $200 graphics cards, you jump on it. So I will say this, I have purchased, I am re-entering the mining game. So, for the very first time, like, I've been completely nodes and that's it. But I do want to start, so I got down in the weeds and I started buying some cards. Found a guy that was, wholesaler and, scooped up a bunch of them. So
we want to know what you bought. What did you buy? You're talking to a bunch of home miners here. Like, we get excited when other people buy hardware.
Well, it's kind of a combo.
Okay.
But most of them are the, what is it, 3060s.
Okay.
So they're, it's more for me. It's not like I bought 4,000 of them this time. It's more, I just want to get, like, I had one rig back here that I literally had my 1070 Ti's still sitting in, you know what I mean? And like, it broke my heart to take them out. But, to me, it's time. And I'm not going to run the farm either. I've already talked to somebody and they're going to run it and set it up for me, because I don't have time for that shit.
That's awesome.
I watch you guys doing it. That's as good as it gets for me, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, we definitely appreciate it. It's definitely interesting. You guys had a lot of really good things to say there. So, looking at purchasing hardware right now, the challenges for people is, like, I always think back to, like, those memes you see on Facebook or social media where it's like the line for buying Bitcoin at 70,000 versus the line of buying Bitcoin at, like, where it is currently right now, like 20, whatever. And it's the same thing with hardware. I think DJ, you alluded to it too. It's like, are you buying an S19J Pro, let's say, because that's just one that's very common, for 17, 18,000? And you're okay with it because Bitcoin's at 70, and so you're okay because you ROI in a year and you're comfortable? Or you look at it now and it's like $2,000 and less, and you're like, oh no, absolutely not, because your ROI is 7 years. And what always blows my mind, and I love some of your input on this, guys, is just the fact of, like, I see a lot of it right now where there's almost this, like, mining hatred or this, like, jealousy when they see people, and we see this as content creators, DJ and I, where it's like people see you buying hardware and they're like, are you stupid? The ROI is 7 years. And what comes to mind for me is, like, do you think we're going to be at the same price for Bitcoin or other currencies in 7 years? Like, do you think it's not going to change?
7 years or 1 day.
You
know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. That's crypto. You know what I mean? It's like I was mining Ethereum when it was, $1.25.
Wow.
So, now I did learn a lesson with Ethereum, and I learned my lesson with Flux, it's better just to hold, mine and hold, and not play this game where you think you're going to, do one better than the market. So, but yeah, I mean, that's how it is. I mean, and that's why miners, the new miners coming into the space, the first thing they say, like, with this Flux coming up, they, I always say that. I always get trouble for it. They get panicked. They're like, okay, I'm mining Flux. Now I'm going to get half the Flux. They don't look long term. You look at, okay, if I continue to keep mining Flux, there are going to be miners that drop off the network. That increases, what I'm getting in my bag. And, I'm going to continue to keep mining through. And it's a safe place to be because I know the guys are, GPU friendly and so on and so forth. So I think if you mine projects that you believe in, doesn't matter if it's Flux or whatever it is, whether it's Raven or, whatever the proof of work coin that you're mining. I think it's important that you understand that, overnight success is the hardest thing you'll ever do, right? Sure. So getting to the point where all of a sudden the market clicks and now it's up parabolic. We watched it happen with Flux and multiple times now.
So curious, DJ, on your side of things, there's no wrong. I agree with your purchases. What drove you to purchase Kadena and Bitcoin miners right now during the bear market?
Yeah, I think it's the price of them. For example, the Kadena box 2, the newest one that's out, it's $325. The Dogecoin miner in the last bull run, they were going for almost $1,000, right? And so I personally think, I'm not going to hang on to this Kadena miner. I'm not saying I don't like them or anything, but I mean, I'm going to mine it for a year until they're unbelievably profitable, and then I'll probably flip it for 700. You know, I think hardware is still a decent time, or not even decent. I think it's a great time to buy little things like hardware, and $325 shipped. I mean, it's a steal for me. Now, as far as the Bitcoin miner, like you mentioned, even before they had the XP, the S19s were going for, I think, $12,000, and I got it for $4,700. You know, and this is the best of the best on the market. It's less than half of what it should be costing. There's no way these things are going to be that or the same cost, I think, in the future.
Well, I think, DJ, you're onto something, and it's one of the unsung heroes of mining, and I call it hidden ROI. Because, you know, most people think of, you know, their investment, they buy the graphics card or the miner, whatever it is, and they're going to mine that. And then they have to think, how long do I have to power this? How much electricity am I going to have to put into it? You know, if I'm running a farm, what's the cost of that? As I have done in multiple cycles, when I buy graphics cards when they're the cheapest. And then once the market starts going up and people are paying $500, $600, $700 for a card that I paid $200 for, I start liquidating them. And basically what it does is it just repeats itself. You know, we had, you know, the facility that we had, you know, 4,000 cards. We sold them at the very, very peak. I mean, I just liquidated everything, sold the whole damn thing. And the reason we did it was for obvious reasons. Well, one, I was moving completely to nodes in Flux. And the other one was, I felt like mining at that particular point in time, for me at least, not having to take care of a farm because I'm working on Flux in the project, it just made sense. And then now here we are again, where I can pick up a card for a couple $100 and I'm gonna, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna mine it and I'm gonna run through the cycle. And when everybody's FOMOing to get whatever the hell looks like it could mine, I mean, literally, I mean, I had like, oh my God, those old AMD cards. I mean, what were they?
Probably 4,400 series, like the 4070s.
480s. I mean, those things wouldn't, you know, they couldn't get out of their own way. But when we were in peak FOMO cycle, everybody was buying it. Like, they didn't even care. Just give me a graphics card. So, I mean, I think people need to understand that too. It's all about, you know, it's about hedging, it's about leverage, it's about knowing that there's other ways to make money than just the physical mining of the asset. It's to be ready when it's time to move that mining equipment and be ready for the next cycle. So that's the key.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, some things you bring up, as well as DJ brought up too, like purchasing hardware now and then selling it later. People forget about, like, they look at like, okay, the ROI is 7 years. Well, sure, if the price of Bitcoin, let's say, stays exactly the same way with that XP, it's 7 years. But just like DJ had said too, like, if there's a big opportunity that he can sell at a high and double his money, triple his money off of it, that's an opportunity. So like, that's the nice thing about mining hardware, is that it's not just you buy it and then you have to wait until you've actually broke even before you could do anything. You could sell. The market could pop, and all of a sudden 2 months from now, DJ's selling that KD box 2 for twice the amount. And sure, why not? There's actually a community member I know who does not mine, but he hodls equipment. So he saves his funds until a bear market, buys hardware, sits on it, just like you would with any other investment. Think of it like a stock. Sits on it, and then the market returns and he sells it. And so even me, like, this being my first cycle, my first bear market, you learn so much through these things. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, when we're in the next bull run, I want to take a little bit of a honeypot, some cash aside, put it aside, and that's like my bear market fund, where it's like, ooh, that's how I'm going to buy hardware next time. And it sounds crazy because I know my first bull run, dude, I was just like Dan had said, just buying up whatever I could that would mine. Like, it didn't matter.
You had to get a bot if you really wanted to get a lot of them. I mean, people, anything, doesn't matter. 10 series, any graphics card. I want to comment on ROI.
Yeah, go for it.
I think this is really funny at this moment to like even think about ROI because these movements move so quick. For example, Flux, right?
Yeah.
Was it up like 30% today? The thing is, right, if you get so focused in, oh, this is what I'm making today. This is, you see what I'm saying? So call it 30 cents. You say, oh, I'm losing 30 cents today or I'm making 30 cents. It doesn't matter because when these moves happen, they happen so fast. And it's too late if you want to jump in. You miss that large movement, right? And these movements happen very quickly, and then maybe they'll continue to go up. But you don't want to miss those movements. If you have no market share, if you're not involved in any way, you're just going to move, or you're just going to miss out on everything that's important.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that, you know, it's almost like that investor's fear. Like the first time you start really investing in anything, the stock market or whatever it is, you know, you start to see that upcycle. It's like, should I sell? What should I do? And then once you've been through a few cycles, you start to say, okay, I'm going to ratchet out. These are my excess points, 20%, taking profit. Doesn't matter if it's my mining gear or if it's, you know, nodes or whatever it is. These are my exit points. I take capital off the table. And much like you were saying about, you know, putting a nest egg away, so to speak, so you're ready for the next cycle.
Yeah.
These things, the ebbs and flows of this market is, now one thing I will tell you that's different this time around than I've ever seen before is I think the cycles are getting much quicker. I mean, we're talking like, you know, 2015, 2016, 2017 bull market, 2018, 2019, 2020 bull market, into 2021, 21. Now we're into one. So I think these cycles are starting to get much quicker, and I think people are going to have to be much more nimble when they're adjusting to these things. So like you got to be ready to move and say, well, I got this rig sitting over here, and yeah, the cards are, you know, 3 times what I paid for them. But look, I am mining. You have to be willing to take that hit and say, maybe I parse my rig out, sell half my cards, keep half my cards, and now you've put the capital away, whether it's in you know, fiat or other cryptocurrency or whatever. But I think people got to have to be really quick with this one because I don't think this lasts long.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing as time has gone on. Just with crypto becoming more mainstream over the last few years with everything going on, I've heard the exact same thing that like this cycle will be shorter. And I really hope so. Like no one knows exactly, but it just seems like that definitely could be the case. Last thing on ROI is like, I love telling people like right now, ROI is dead. And they can't grasp that because it's like, I say it's dead because
and why do you do it?
Yeah.
Why do you do it then? If there's no ROI and I'm losing money, why do I do it?
Yep, exactly. That's the question. What do you mean? Like, aren't you in this for the money? It's like, I absolutely am. But when I'm buying hardware right now, I don't look at ROI. And for some people, that concept, like, think of it. Go back a year ago or a year and a half ago when it was like, we literally, when we bought something, and even as a content creator, one of the things we talked about in the videos was like, here's this 3060. Right now on Ethereum, it will ROI in X days. Like that was like what you looked at. And if it was under 365 days, everybody was like, great, cool. But anything longer than that, you didn't even touch. Now look at it. You can't even look at those metrics because you have no clue what the market's going to be like in a month or a year from now. So last thing I want to talk about today, guys, is the current state of crypto right now, January 28th. We're seeing over the last few days, the markets are definitely looking green, which is a blessing. I can't complain. DJ, I wanted to get your thoughts. Is this all hypothetical? We don't know anything exactly, but do you feel this is a rally? Do you think this is just a quick pump? Do you think this is the start of a bull market? What's your kind of thoughts and feelings?
I think it depends on what the Fed says in February.
Okay.
Because everybody's in its stock world is not everybody. It's starting to go up. We're starting to see some euphoria. We're starting to see some optimism. Definitely in crypto, we've been seeing it. But the Fed could either help us keep going or they're going to kill the little vibe. So I think it's mostly up to the Fed. I think we're in the bottom stages. I don't know what day is the official bottom. And I'm going to continue to buy. I just like it. I think we're good.
Dan, what about you?
No, I agree with what DJ said because ultimately I think these cycles are much quicker now. I think that there was a lot, with the FTX implosion, the contagion that moved through all the different parts of the market. I think this was an unnatural bear market, by the way, and people might say, no, that's not true. I do. I think it was premature end of the bull market, mostly because of, Genesis, 3 Arrows. The list goes on and on. Celsius. These are the major people who are paper printing BTC and assets on exchange, and then they're pulling the volume. When you take the market makers out of the equation, then you get down to what projects are like really legitimate projects, because now they don't, you know, they're off the book, so to speak. So, you know, I think this was a premature bear market, but what I think it's going to do is signal the next leg up. So not investment advice, and God, don't listen to me, right? Because I like, I'm a guy, I have mine, I buy, I hold. I don't trade anymore. I tried trading for years, although I did buy some Tesla the other day, DJ.
Yeah, let's go, Tesla!
High five, baby, high
Yeah,
five.
baby!
That's the only stock I own.
Wow.
Tesla. That's it. Everything else I moved back before the correction. But I will say this, I think we're in a much quicker cycle now. I think you're going to see the correction bigger. And I think the thing that you really have to look at, and this is the telling point, you have nation states that are now getting involved in crypto, into you know, Bitcoin. You have, you know, large institutions that are starting to jump into, you know, they're seeing, you know, the best performing asset of 2021 was Bitcoin. So I think Flux actually beat it, but nobody knows that. So, but anyway, you know, that I think it's going to be a really interesting next several months. And I do agree with what DJ says. Unfortunately, we're still seeing us pegged to whatever the Fed says. Yeah. And I think you're going to see that eventually decouple. So, you know, I think sooner or later, it's just logical that these become two different markets. And then it doesn't matter what the Fed says because we're global. So the less input the Fed has, the better. So, and the more adoption globally, the less this micro piece of, well, it's not really micro because, you know, dollar's kind of the world currency, but, you know, I think it's going to be much faster. And I think we're in an upcycle right now. I think you could see a real quick snapback and then back up again. But I think this is it, guys. If you didn't buy your Bitcoin at 16.9, which I did, right? I grabbed some BTC. If you didn't buy your Flux at 38 cents, I honestly don't believe, and again, this is my opinion, I honestly don't believe we're going to see those opportunities in a lifetime. And I don't want to hear anybody bitching about it when the price is up. Because that's the next thing you're going to do.
Yeah, it's really unique. So like a few things you said there, just with where crypto is now, we're seeing more and more. You talked about nation states, but also like even states in the U.S. that we're seeing more and more that are legalizing tender and stuff like that. I think it's going to be really interesting over the next 2 years to see what happens, because we're having some of these states within the U.S. that are backing Bitcoin significantly and cryptocurrency, and then we have at the federal level, there's more misunderstanding, confusion, and like, we want to ban this, you know, and more with the proof of work side, but just crypto in general, because they put it all under an umbrella. So it's going to be real interesting to see over the next year or two where we end up. You know, are you going to have states that are like, nope, perfectly legal, and then a Fed coming? It's almost reminds me a little bit of marijuana, where like in some states, marijuana is like completely supported, legalized, and then at the federal level, it's totally different. So I definitely see crypto going this weird legislation angle. Also, to speak to what you had said there a little bit, looking over the last 2 years, it has almost been this like perfect storm of like COVID, and then we've had like the quote recession, depending on how you define it. And then on top of that, you have everything else that has gone on with crypto, all the bad actors in there with FTX and Genesis and all of this that has occurred. It's like everything has worked against us. I mean, it's like how much more in the last year could negatively impact cryptocurrency? I mean, could it get any worse? I mean, I hate to say it, but you know, and so I do agree with you guys that I feel like we're really at that bottom. Now, as a enthusiast, I get excited when I see pumps like this, but then as a realist, I'm like, all right, calm down a little bit, you know, don't go too crazy. So it's definitely because just like you could say it could be an ebb and flow. This could be a quick pump, and then we could be right back down next week.
The corn giveth and the corn taketh away, because that's you know, that's basically what it is. But I will say this one thing, and I just wanted to leave this kind of parting thought, is the fact that there is a bill that was submitted where on the Hill, that every vending machine, I think Ted Cruz put it in out of the great state of Texas.
Of course.
Every vending machine, every cafeteria, everything on the Hill would accept BTC.
Oh, wow. Let me give you Hadouken.
Yeah.
So I mean, that should tell you whether or not it passes.
Yeah.
It is a huge momentum builder for the entire, you know, ecosystem, because I mean, could you ever imagine? You guys have been in it for a while. You've been this is your first bear market, but I mean, even in the past year and a half, 2 years, I never in a million years thought that we were hearing nation states talk about it. Hell, even Russia's talking about allowing it as a, you know, a currency. I mean, this is crazy shit. we're never gonna. This is like, you know, the .com boom when everything was going up, right? This is it, guys. We're there. You know, I always wanted to be there. We're here. So this is good adoption stuff.
Yeah, I'm hoping we see more in the U.S. from the adoption side faster. I mean, if it's a good example, I mean, when you see Russia all of a sudden, you know, making moves in the crypto space, and then, but then on the flip side, over in the U.S. where there's so much hesitation, it's like, man, is the U.S. going to miss the boat here? Because they're too tied up in the legalization of things to the point where like Russia is fully supporting it, and then you have us on the other side of things. So no, I agree. I think there's lots of opportunity. So DJ, last thought. Someone comes to you today and says, hey, I'm looking to buy this mining hardware. Am I crazy? What do you tell them?
Which hardware? Should I give them a suggestion?
What are your thoughts if they want to invest a significant amount into hardware right now? Love it or hate it?
Depending on their electric, I love it.
Oh, okay. Good thought.
But here's the thing. I'm sorry to go off track. The thing is, even if you have high electric like me, 17 cents, you can get it hosted. That's what I've been doing with all my ASICs. I'm at 17 cents. I said, let me hit up Terra Hosting. I sent them my Cumulus node. I sent my S19 to somebody else. You can find people 7 cents, 10 cents, 9 cents, whatever works for you. Don't just think you have to do it at your house. If your electric rate is not good, the options are there. You still can expand if you absolutely had to.
I love it. Cool. All right, on your side, Dan, someone says to you, hey, I would have spent all this money to get build these GPU mining rigs to mine Flux. Are you go for it? What's your thoughts?
I love it. Yeah, I mean, I'm back in the mining business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I thought I'd never be. So, I mean, that tells you something about, you know, the opportunity that, you know, I'm the old man, the sage guy, right? That has the experience. And when I look at something and say, this is too much of a good opportunity to pass up, then I would say to anyone else, and again, not investment advice, but now's the time, if not when. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you want to get into it and get the exposure, now's the time to mitigate your risk, because you're going to get things cheaper. You know, expand on your opportunity, get a little bit more, sell that mining equipment or sell whatever it is that you have to in the upcycle, and you just kind of work through it. So yeah, I'm all about it. 100%. Proof of work is alive and healthy.
Yeah. I agree with you. I've been buying hardware recently, you know, building things up, trying to get as much as I can. I think I'm almost at 20,000 watts now running at home. So
wow,
really pushing it. Yeah.
Wow. Good for you,
yeah.
man.
Yeah. My shed is maxed out right now. So I'm building out in my garage. But
shit's out in the backyard glowing.
I started buying I've started to invest and buy, more expensive but quieter power supplies for a lot of the ASICs and stuff like that, just to kind of keep it a little bit quieter. Because I think I measured, it's like 19 feet from my neighbor's home themselves. So I'm like, all right, I gotta keep this quiet. But yeah, I mean, I'm the last person. If you're concerned or questioning should you do it, I'm gonna say go for it. Prices are amazing. Now's the best time to do it. Yields are pretty good. You know, chase after it. But it's set it and forget it. Don't think you're going to cash out tomorrow, next week, next month. It is like, if you're buying hardware now and you're into mining right now, you should be into it for the long haul. You shouldn't be thinking you're going to cash out every day and every week and every month. But cool. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap things up there. DJ and Dan, I really appreciate you guys joining me today to chat through this. Everybody who is listening and made it this far, leave a comment down below. We probably touched on something that you're interested in. You have questions, comments, feedback on, leave a comment directly down below. I'll leave links to both of these guys' Twitter. They're super active on Twitter. And also DJ has a YouTube channel. Go check him out. He's a far better content creator than I am. So make sure you go subscribe to him.
You guys are both great, man. You guys are both great. What you guys do for the space is hands down. We thank you every day. So you guys, it doesn't go unnoticed. I mean, I know how, I kid around and say one of my metrics of whether or not we're in a bear market is I look at all the YouTube influencers' pictures, and if they're like pain and all this, like when they start changing the pictures and greedy eyes, and they're like going for this new rig, it's like upcycle, let's go. Yep.
Yeah.
So, that's one way to measure it. Definitely one way. Well, guys, from myself, Dan, and DJ, we appreciate you guys joining us today. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Peace.
All right. Thank you, guys. See ya.
Over the last 12 months, I've been working with a handful of designers on a special project, and I'm excited to announce that project is now live. Let me introduce you to a new apparel web store, 𝗶𝗶𝗴_miners.store. Hardware merch for enthusiasts just like you and I. Working with a few designers, we decided to launch the store with 17 unique NVIDIA Founders Edition graphics card designs. These designs are all custom made, unique, and one of a kind. What's your favorite Founders Edition? Was it the GTX 1080 Ti, or maybe the RTX 2080? We can't forget about the RTX 3060 Ti, or how about everyone's favorite, the RTX 3070? So what's different about hobbyistminers.store? Well, every 3 months, these designs will be decommissioned and gone forever, making them a limited time run. But no fear, every 3 months, brand new designs will be released of your favorite graphics cards. To give you an idea, hobbyistminers.store has 68 designs in reserve to be released over the next 12 months. Go check out hobbyistminers.store today and their winter collection, only for sale until March 31st. Then they're gone. But no fear, the spring collection is standing by. Go check it out, www.hobbyistminers.store.